You're listening to Aeths. I'm going to give you 45 seconds of Aeths with Mr. John LeCompt.
I still got my clothes on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John LeCompt from Aeths, formerly of Evanescence. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
You are a busy, busy man.
That's what they say. I'm so busy that people that they don't really even know what I'm doing. They haven't asked me specifically what I'm doing or anything. They just feel it in the energy of in planet Earth that I'm busy, and they go, "Man, I know you're busy, man, but could you listen to this mix for me?" And I'm like, "You're right, I am busy, so no, I can't."
I bet you get that 1,000 times a day.
No, it's not that much, but no, I always, try to appease them. Yeah, I'll listen to your mix, man. I'll listen to
There you go. I got you, brother. All right. So Aeths is made up of Ryan Kemp, Dakota Swayze, you, and Eric Reed. Tell me a little bit about the project and when you started and what made you start this new project.
Well, I didn't start it. I've known Ryan's brother, Brandon, for most of his life, and Brandon he wanted to get a present for Ryan some years back. He was in a band called Sound Cult. Ryan was. He was a singer for a band called Sound Cult. It was like a metal band or whatever. And Brandon wanted to get him a present or whatever. So he bought studio time from me and traded me like a tattoo and money for studio time. So that's how I met Ryan. And this was years ago. He's a little clean cut, he's in a Christian metal band, all that stuff. And he's a good kid. He's doing all that pig squealing, rar shit. And there was one part of it where he was actually singing. I was like, man, that's what you need to be doing right there, dude. I was like, you got a great voice. Well, fast forward years later, I heard this band. I knew it was Ryan. My little brother Jimmy told me about it, and he said it's called Junkhead. And they had released some songs, but they did like a demo somewhere, and it was real shoddy. But I listened for the potential, and stuff.
Right.
And it was just they were capturing everything I love about that era.
Right.
But they needed me to produce it. They needed me, so I was like, I've got to get my hands on this, So it was a project that was already happening, and it was a beautiful thing already. Minus me, there was another bass player. His name was Jonathan, brilliant bass player, real good kid. Anyways, they had parted ways once they got in the studio, but that's beside the point. Anyways, I started producing the record. I ended up saying, well, okay, they didn't have the bass player situation handled. I said, I'll play bass on it, man. I can, I've always been a guitar player, but I've put a lot of bass tracks on a lot of songs in my
studio. That's what Dean was telling me. He said the neat thing is you're not playing lead on this when you're doing bass.
Yeah. It's just been something that's happened because of this. Like I said, I've put a lot of bass lines on a lot of records that I've recorded for people who either didn't have a bass player or had subpar bass players or just couldn't get the thing right, and I could always do it. So with this, I was like, well, I could do the bass tracks. And then I started throwing the bass tracks on it. And they asked me, you want to be in the band? I said, well, hell yeah, I want to be in the band because this is like my favorite band of all time. So yes, I will be in it. And my bass licks are dope, and I can sing backups, and obviously this band needs harmonies big time. So that's how I got into the band. So it was kind of already... it was already a band, and then we named it Aeths because they were called Junkhead, and we all decided to get away from the Alice in Chains deal because that's an Alice in Chains song. Don't be like Godsmack, who named their band Godsmack after an Alice in Chains song because they love Alice in Chains, and I fucking hate Godsmack, so I'm definitely not gonna follow in their footsteps. So yeah, that's how that happened, and yeah, they brought it to the table. I guess I brought kind of like the missing juice and the missing magic, and produced the shit out of it right here in this room, and I think it sounds amazing.
I tell you what, dude, if it's what I downloaded, and I believe it is because I was playing it, it's some badass stuff, man. Yeah. I was like, instantly, oh, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear this shit out in my car driving down the road, I'm telling you.
Well, that's the thing about it to me is, but obviously I'm older, so when Alice in Chains, which and the whole Alice in Chains thing that comes up a lot, and yes, we know that there's a lot of Chains influence there, but by no means at all is it a band trying to sound like Alice in Chains. It's not. They
Right.
had a characteristic there, and me as a producer, uh, I kind of tried to jump on the things that were beautiful about it, and I love Chains. Like I grew up like when the album Dirt came out, I was a pizza delivery man at Pizza Hut Delivery in Hot Springs, and that when that tape was in my Hyundai Excel delivering pizzas, it didn't come out for 2 years, man. That's how much I love that band, and so it's not all about being like a Chains type deal, but the talent in this band and the youth of this band. These guys are like early 20s, and they shouldn't get it. They shouldn't get it like they do, but
Right.
they love Zeppelin. They love all this old stuff, the Doors, everything, but not in a way of like they went to Hot Topic and saw a Doors T-shirt and had to get it.
No,
I'm talking about
sounds
these
like
dudes are like they got from a time machine and like came here. You
yeah,
know,
like they're living.
exactly. So there's a beautiful characteristic to it that made me fall in love with it and want to be a part of it. Because if it wasn't genuine or had a legitimate feel, I wouldn't want to be a part of it. It looked like somebody was just trying to do some novelty bullshit. I don't want to be a part of it. And on the other hand, if it was a bunch of dudes my age trying to do it, trying to recapture old feeling, I wouldn't do that either because I don't like trying to relive the past or beat
Right.
a dead horse. I ain't into that. If it's magic, I love it. But it's got to be real. It's got to be legitimate. I ain't having no fake bullshit in my life.
Yeah, and it's got to be something fresh.
Yeah,
It's got yes,
and
you
it
got
is.
that fresh energy that just
Yeah, and that's
grabs you.
why I would try to direct people like when you listen to it. Yeah, man, you're gonna feel that Chains vibe, but listen deeper. If you listen deeper to it, you're gonna hear a lot more than that. And there's a lot of beautiful things that are going on there that are very unique to the members of this band, who are genuine, unique individuals, rather than hey, we're just trying to sound like this, we're trying to do that. Because that's if you listen close, you're gonna realize it ain't the same thing. It
Right.
ain't even close.
So are these guys that you've known for a long time?
Just Brian, I've known him since he had come to my studio that first time, and then Dakota was the guitar player that he brought with him, and Eric, I met them for the first time whenever they started doing this project. And Dakota, holy shit balls! Well, you talk about me like I'm the bass player or whatever. Yeah, I'm a guitar player.
Right.
I don't pick up a guitar around Dakota. I won't. the, dude, the dude is
Yeah, that thing's
ridiculous.
smoking, huh?
That dude is ridiculous, man. That'd be like, it's like trying to have a holiness contest against Jesus. You know? It ain't gonna happen.
There you go. So you also have Redrum Studios in Benton, Arkansas. Tell us a
Hmm.
little bit about your studio.
Here it is. I've had okay. I have it's in my house here. I had another house which is a stone's throw away over here. That I had a little bigger room at that point,
Right.
but we downsized. But this room actually has a beautiful, beautiful sound. I mean, if you listen to that record, it was all done right here. I can even pan around. You can see. Let's see here. Well, you see guitars and stuff everywhere, and I'm working on a guitar right there. There's a drum kit, and there goes my vocal booth back there.
My kind of room.
Yeah,
Looks
there
like a
is.
fun one.
Yeah, but we've got I've got like vaulted ceiling and all
Right.
that stuff. So it's not humongous, but I don't know if you can see out the window because it's kind of bright.
Oh, cool. So you got scenery and everything, so it adds to that vibe. You're cutting out,
Can't
sweetie.
see it.
There you
And I
go.
am decking it out. I've learned how to wire. I've learned how to insulate. I've learned how to do carpentry and everything so that it can be. So I'm stepping next year. I'm stepping the game up big time. I mean, I can make a record sound like a LA or Nashville record in this room because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And no one has ever came and said, "Oh man, this is just in your bedroom. I can do this." Well, whenever they leave, they realize they can't do this because I.
Whenever they leave, their hair's blown back, and they're like, "Holy shit!"
But there's a lot of experience involved, and
Right,
not cutting corners, but realizing what stuff is unnecessary and what stuff is necessary. So, anyways, it's not about the room per se. It's about everything that's right here. I'm not too more like I'm the smartest guy alive. I'm just saying there ain't nobody doing what I'm doing around here. Everybody else just hits record. I don't
right.
just hit record. I speak with you about it, and I choose the best takes and help you have the best takes. And whatever we can't get perfect, then I will fine tune. Um, and that's why the experience is always something that I always have like return business. I haven't even ever put an ad out. I don't have business cards. Everything I've done, I've been doing it for 10 years, has all been word of mouth, you know?
That's because you know what you're doing, and when you do it, like you said, word of mouth, it spreads further than any ad you could ever
Oh,
do.
that's right. And the thing about local is I get smashed locally because people call me sometimes, they'll find out about me, like they'll hear something I did and they're like, "How much you charge by the hour?" I'm like, I can't quote you by the hour because if I do that, then if I quote $25 an hour and I tell you I spend $100 a song, that means it's gonna be like $2,500 fucking dollars a song. It's gonna be a lot of money. Uh,
Right.
you don't want to do that. You want to talk to me about what you can do, and I'll be flexible about it. So, I don't get a whole hell of a lot of local business. I do have some locals like Ryan's old band and this band, and there's a band called In Serpents I Sleep from Hot Springs that I did. Uh, Redefine Reflection, I recorded them. There's a handful of them that have,
I've actually seen redefine of reflection.
yeah, I was in one of their videos
Watched,
actually.
yeah, I went and watched them before.
Yeah, I was in
So
their video where I got to punch Brittany in the face. I was supposed to be the abusive husband or boyfriend or whatever, so I got to hit her in
right.
the face and knock her across the counter and knock a bunch of dishes off. I couldn't keep my smile down though, man. I
It
can
was one of them
do the
trying
acting thing,
try
but it
not
was
to
just funny as shit.
yeah, try not to laugh,
Yeah,
trying to look
yeah.
mean.
Well, when I showed up, they said, "You want to be in our video?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that for you." I thought it was like a cattle call thing, like there's gonna be a bunch of friends there, maybe people
Right.
sit on couches, No, I was the only dude there, and they're like, "No, this is your part. This is what you're doing." I was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to whoop the shit out of you on tape today." I wish somebody would have told me. I would have brought my brass
Yeah.
knuckles.
So you have been in a lot of different projects. One of the things that Dean thought was really cool, and he thought, people would like to hear your perspective on it. Um, he said, "Tell them about the first Grammy that you got, and who was it that presented it to you? You
Well,
um, you you
yeah,
had
I'll tell
told
you
him
about that.
about it, and he said it was really cool, and he thought, your fans and everybody would kind of like to hear your side and
Oh,
everything."
my side is gonna, yeah. Here's my side. Um, at no bitterness towards that time or that band at all because I cherish all the experience and history that I've ever had. But there was a political hierarchy back then, and so whenever the Grammy thing happened, Ben Moody, Amy Lee, and David Hodges were the legal owners of the band, and we were hired help. We had written songs and we had credit on the songs, but we were still contracted as hired help. It's a long story. There's no reason to get into all that, but there's a lot
Exactly.
of snakes on the playground. Okay, and
Right.
that's fine. We were aware of that, right? Well, I guess the Grammys they have a lot of weird their policies. I don't understand it. It's just bullshit, really, um, about who's going to actually accept them and all this. So it was just Ben, Amy, and David on the stage. We were in the audience, and the ones they hand you on the stage, those aren't even yours. Those are just props.
Yeah, those just the
Um,
shiny props that they
yeah, just at that moment, you don't get yours
as soon
until
as
they
you go
send
off
it.
stage, they're like, "Give me that damn thing."
Yeah, they send it to you in a box like later. Because
Yeah.
they don't know, and I mean they do know, but they say they don't know until that night. But they got to inscribe it and all that stuff. Um, anyways, whenever it happened, Ben or David had been fired, even though he had a core membership ownership of the band. He had been fired, but yeah, he was deserving of the Grammy, so he got to be there. So here's a guy that was a big part of the band who got fired the day before we took the first pictures we ever took, which was they fucked him over big time. And well, I shouldn't say that because now somebody from Brazil is going to watch this and they're going to go fucking nuts. I can't believe you said they fucking. And then Ben had quit the band 8 months into the first tour, but he still had a legal right to be there too. But Amy was still the existing member, so she was on the microphone. And then Ben, we hadn't seen him since he left the band. And he showed up wearing this crazy. He had this long hair wig and this fake beard, and he's dressed up. He looked like a werewolf pimp. And we just couldn't believe what he was wearing, but I don't know. I know the inside story to why he did that now, but I will never tell anybody.
You don't know nothing, but yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, I can't be letting all the secrets out.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was there. Anyway, you can see this online. But the thing that got me was this. Here's me. I grew up in Hot Springs, and I weren't no badass back then. I was a little crybaby, man. I didn't like to fight, nothing like that. But I'm a pretty big dude now, and if somebody messes with me with that adrenaline, man, I might just go off. I try to be safe, but don't fuck with me. And then you got Rocky Gray, Jay Villain. You don't mess with the Gray family, man. That's the Grays, right? That's the Gorilla Clan. You don't fuck with them. Well, we're sitting in the audience, and then I guess because 50 Cent was nominated in the same thing, Best New Artist, he didn't win. We won. Oh, so they're sitting there, and here comes 50 walking across the stage, pre-Kanye, doing a Kanye thing. And he walks right across the stage, right next to them, and just kind of stops. Like, he didn't say shit, but it was almost like, man, I'm 50 Cent. I should have won this junk. Don't get me wrong. In the club, that was my jams. It's your birthday. That's the jams. But get your dumb ass off the stage, man. It's like that movie Zoolander when he thought he won the award and he went up there.
Yeah.
Confused model thinks he won the award. What an idiot.
Oh,
he goes up there. He walks across the stage. So, like I'm saying, me and Rocky, man, if I swear to God, had we been standing up on that stage, it would have been a lot more interesting of a show.
Oh my goodness.
50 ain't but about 5.5 foot tall, man.
Heck, I could take him. I'm 5'1". No.
50 cent. How about 25-cent piece?
That's a good one. I'm going to remember that. So tell me about, of course, we all know about Evanescence, and We Are the Fallen. Is it Machina? Is that how you say that? Machina.
Yeah.
And, Living Sacrifice that formed into Kill System. And Morningside. I mean, you've just been part of so much.
It's been a long life.
And it sounds like you've had a blast, man. I tell you what. I cannot wait.
Fun. It's been interesting. And it never was any. I never set out to do any of this. I grew up in Hot Springs, man. I was a Hot Springs boy. My daddy was, Chuck Southern Barbecue. My daddy was a barbecue man.
Right.
Me and my brothers, my older brother and myself, man, we kind of raised ourselves. I mean, my parents were good people, but my dad was off trying to make a wage. My mom was trying to help him. And me and Robbie, we was just some white trash, man. We'd get on our bikes and
go
ride all the way out to Hill Whitney Park and start jumping our bikes in the lake. And I got involved with a bunch of crazy stuff back in the 80s. Like, I did a bunch of meth and acid and all the stuff that happens in Hot Springs. And that was kind of my thing. But I always played music. I'd take a huge bong hit with my homeboy and just sit there and jam on guitar. I didn't realize I was getting good. I just thought I was having fun,
Right.
Then all my other friends were like, man, everybody was a guitar player. Everybody was a guitar player. That's the only reason why I ever started singing, because everybody played guitar. And I was like, well, somebody got to do it. Shit.
Somebody got to sing.
Singing stuff like that. And, they were all like, man, we're going to make it, dude. We're going to make it. I was like, do you realize how big planet Earth is? Do you realize how many people are trying to do what you're saying that we're going to do? I was like, we ain't going to do shit. We're just going to be here. This is what we're going to do. I'm like, just enjoy it, man, because ain't shit going to happen. Well, and then fast forward to years and years and years later. And then the shit happens to me, and they're like, man, that's messed up, dude.
Man, we were supposed to do this together.
We were the ones that wanted to make it. You the man. I had one dude, I called him. I hadn't talked to him in like 15 years, and he was one of the most talented musicians I had ever played with back then. This dude named BJ. He's a bass player. He's from Seattle, but he had lived in Hot Springs for a while. And we were in a band together back then. And we did a lot of drugs, but we played some cool music. And he was so talented, though. I always thought he was going to do something. And then he moved back to Seattle. every time I'd go through Seattle, like on tour bus or whatever, I'd always look him up. I'd try to call him and stuff. And this is pre-Facebook. It wasn't as easy to find people.
Right.
I literally tore the page out of the phone book that had his number in it and just kept it with me.
When they still had pay phones and phone books and all that good stuff.
Yeah, right. Back in the early 2000s, there was a phone book there. I read the page out, and because my flip phone, man, you couldn't save nothing in there, boy. But anyways, I kept calling and calling. The phone would just ring. It wouldn't go to like voicemail or nothing like that. It would just ring and ring. I was like, well, man, this dude ain't never home. Maybe I'll never get him. And then finally one day he answers the phone. I hadn't talked to this dude 15, 20 years, man. And I said, BJ. He said, yeah. I said, man, this is John LeCompt. And you have to forgive the word that I'm about to use, but
No, go ahead.
People out there, politically correct world, forgive this word. He goes, I said, hey man, this is John LeCompt, dude. I'm rolling through, man. I thought I'd hit you up. He goes, John LeCompt, you fucking faggot. You made it and I didn't. That's the first thing he said to me in 20 years. And I felt bad too, man. I was like, damn, you're right. You're right. I think I'll come to the show for free though. He said, no. He said, I don't even like your band. I said, man, we got something in common. I don't like them either. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh gosh. So you're playing Spa City, the first annual Spa City Rocktoberfest. It's got a great lineup, and Dean, man, he has been busting his tail, and he has really, really worked his butt to pull this off. And I mean, I tell you, from the feedback that we're getting, it sounds like it's gonna be great, guy. I cannot wait until we get to see you up to jamming. Rocktight will be there as well because we're one of the sponsors. But man, I am just so stoked to see this new project.
Oh,
I
it's
really
pretty good.
am.
It should be interesting, man, because I guess it's probably going to be cold out. I hope it don't rain all over everybody and rain everybody
Well,
out.
he checked the weather, which it's Arkansas. Stick around 5 minutes and it'll change. But
That's right.
he checked the forecast because he had been stressing about that as well. And he did his radio interview today, and he's like, "Man, I checked the forecast, and it's gonna be 69 and sunny." And he was all excited, and I was like, "Dean, because you're doing, the big man above is gonna watch out. He's gonna make it happen because Dean's he's trying to make a difference in the music scene. He's trying to put that fire back up underneath it.
Well, I mean, he's always been a part of it. I watched y'all's little deal where he was talking yesterday. I actually left it playing on my phone while I was in the shower. I was listening to it. But he, I'm sure. I mean, Hot Springs. I mean, I've lived away from there for a long time. I've came back and forth. Obviously, my little brother still lives there. My older brother still lives there. Both my parents have passed, but they lived there until. I mean, I'm still very much Hot Springs. Like, if I ever say anything real stupid and Rocky's around, Rocky'd be like, "Hot Springs, everybody," because that's me.
Right.
I mean, my best friend in the world still lives there. He just got married there. Thad Abels. He was a bass player for Machina. He was mugging the time I was doing what I was doing. I mean, I'm hot. I am Hot Springs. And as far as Dean is concerned, that was always such an interesting relationship because when I met Dean and his little brother Meadow and Clay Shoptaw and all these young cats, they were a grade or two behind me. I think I graduated in 91. I think they graduated like, 92, 93, something like that. So there was a little bit of y'all are just some kids, why are y'all trying to get up? And I was a bad man. I was a bad man back then. I didn't really even hang out with people from school. I hung out with grown-ups who did very grown-up bad things.
Right.
But these young cats, they were always into music. Like Will Garbrandt was he was always playing music with them and one of their best friends. And, he's tattoos over there at Redbeard's place.
Right.
So I've been knowing them for that long, but Dean has always played music and he's always been part of it. And he has that passion and that, he's always had that passion for it. Him and Meadow both, man, they were just like ridiculously talented. And they used to blow me up back then. I weren't no good back then. I wasn't. I was banging around playing Slayer and Anthrax and Sacred Right and stuff like that and doing my best. And I wasn't never I wasn't that guy.
Right.
But they just thought I was awesome. And they had some friend of theirs that wanted to cut heads. I guess he saw that movie with Ralph Macchio and he thought he was going to cut heads. And he showed up one night. I can't remember what this kid's name was, but he was a friend of Dean and them. And he caught me on the end of a 20-hour acid trip.
Oh Lord.
In front of Hardy's on there on Crawford, and he's like, man, yeah, there you are, dude. I've been telling everybody I want to cut heads with you. I was like, man, I ain't into no competition, dude. We can just jam or something, you know. But right now, you don't need to be standing. You don't need to be standing in my perimeters right now because you are lucky I didn't just like hit you with a tire iron right now because I'm freaked out. Anyways, I ended up doing that. And we did it at Dean's house. And I've never been about confrontation or competition. I hate that. I never even played sports because of that reason. And this kid, you know, he's acting all, you know, eh. I was like, I just played songs that I wrote. That's all I did.
Right.
Bunch of rhythms and stuff. And the guys, they didn't even hang out in the room. They just listened from outside. And they say, "Oh my God, you killed him! You smoked him!" I'm like, "All I did was play my songs. That's all I did. That's all."
Yeah, I'm just doing. I'm just playing, man. You know,
yeah.
shit.
So Dean and them, they always treated me. They treated me back then like there was something real special about me. And I didn't believe it. I was like, "Man, y'all don't know why y'all blowing me up like this. Y'all need to stop." And because they were so talented, like Clay Shoptaw, you know, he passed away as well, but he was a drummer. He was their buddy, and he was so good. And he learned to play guitar. Strung right-handed, left-handed playing though, and was sick. He was so good, and just there's a lot of talent coming out of those guys, you know.
Right.
And I watched Facebook, man. I see Dean. He's always playing. His daughter's playing, singing in the club with him sometimes, and he's got that real pretty voice and stuff. So he's got that love, man. He's got that love for music. And Hot Springs, you say that's to relight a fire under the scene, but y'all need to be thankful because I've been around a lot of places, and Hot Springs ain't never really lost the scene. It might dwindle, but it ain't never been lost.
No, it's not lost. No, it's not lost.
It's like it's lost, man. It's just gone.
No, it's just we're trying to, like he said, we're trying to, you know, there's just that little bit of push that it needs to get it back to what it was years ago. That's all he's talking about, you know.
Yeah. And I look forward to being a part of that because I think if people, you know, come down there and pay attention to what's going on, and you know, they're gonna see what's up. Even like Vale. I mean, I can't speak for the other bands because I don't really know them, but Vale, I've known Devin since he was 8 years old, and whenever I mentioned it to Dean, I thought they would, you know, Devin's all over that scene, and Dean wasn't familiar with that. I was like, "Are you kidding me, man? That's like having." Having a worldwide talented act right in your mix, man. Because I'll tell you what, the Vale is sick.
Yeah, I seen Vale at the old Juanita's.
Uh-huh.
Years and years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, and it's just getting better and better. I mean, Devin puts it off every couple of years. He'll put it down, but it's in his bones to do it. And he's been a part of every freaking band that's ever existed. He's been in all the good bands that I remember from over the last 20 years. Devin, in some way, shape, or form, been a part of it. Even some of mine. You know, he was in Morningside with me. He played bass. He was in Altus Pocket. You know, which is short-lived, but one of the baddest things that ever come out of Hot Springs. Shit tons of bands he's been in, man. He's a talented fucking dude. And you know, actually, I'm talking to him about doing some partnership on some stuff here in the future.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I've actually sent them messages. I'm actually trying to make sure that all the bands that play, you know, get a little live interview before the show. So once people come and check them out, if they didn't already know who they were, you know, they kind of have an idea of who they were, and you know, and they can find their music because I know there's a lot of great talent there, and they're going to blow them away. So. You gotta have it to where people know where to go to get merch, you know, and stuff like that, you know. And well, I personally have to tell you that it's pretty cool to be sitting here talking with you today because I mean, it was, gosh, I can't even count the years ago. At least I know it was right when Bring Me to Life came out. And I owned my own karaoke company, but I was also trying to start a band, and that's back when I had a voice. And it was funny because one of the few songs I would do and always loved to listen to was Evanescence, and it was because of the style of music and just the reach in and grab,
Yeah.
and it was all the parts. I mean, I'm one of them people when I'm in a crowd, I will sit there and I will watch a drummer, I'll watch a guitar player. I mean, I just get mesmerized by drummers that are just phenomenal and guitar players that are just you're like, how in the heck are they doing that? And it's like, so I'm really excited and just keep doing what you're doing, guy, because you damn sure got it going on.
Oh, I appreciate it. No, there's been there's never been any. People ask me that a lot of times. They say, like, what are they said stuff like, why have you taken time off, or why, you should get back. I'm like, I ain't never stopped. I've never stopped. I mean, as soon as I was done with
Yeah,
Evanescence, within a week from there, I was doing a showcase with another band, and then I was with that band for several years. There
right.
were two other bands just even in the seasonal breaks between Evanescence. I would start other bands like more inside stuff. I've never stopped doing anything. But the thing about being this is the thing I always usually try to tell people in interviews now, and I wish the world would understand. I don't give a fuck about all that shit because I
Right.
do understand that yes, I'm not going to devalue what you love about that band or about people being famous because if you're the type of person that you like to get autographs and it inspires you, yes, it was lightning in a bottle. It was a beautiful thing and it's awesome. It's what everybody dreams of. But it's all kind of bullshit, you know? Like, why is somebody famous? Because so many people like them. Does that make them better than you? No, it does
No,
not.
they're just an
We're
average
all
Joe.
we're all
They're just
exactly
like
the
you.
same.
They're just like
So
you. They're just like
I
you, me
gotta
and
let people
you.
know that that's just I am not. I don't try to attain that side of anything. I'm a musician. I'm a very simple person. I like music. I like to play music. I like to help people craft their music. I like to make things. I like to do things that matter, like within my family and my community and stuff like that. I have no
That's what it's
goals of
all
trying
about.
to attain fame and fortune. It's
Right.
all bullshit because that stuff wanes. It goes away. It all comes with disappointment and baggage. But if you do it because you love doing it, you do it because I mean, no one's ever going to take the music away from me. No one's ever going to take what what I've built for my family away from me as far as having a integrity and credibility. That can't be taken away from me. Those are
No.
things that are important, not fucking Grammys and shit. You know.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like Dean told me, he said, he said what he's always remembered about you is no matter what you were doing, who you were doing, what you were at, you were always a very down to earth person. And, you were just a cool guy, just like an average Joe. And you
That's
weren't
right.
one of those musicians that, oh, I'm so and so. No, you
Yeah, that's
love
bullshit.
the
There's no reason
music.
to act that way.
You were doing it for the music, you
Yeah.
know, and that's something I really admire. I really do.
I know my worth. I know my value, and I also know what it is to overworth and overvalue yourself, and just be that guy. And if anybody ever thinks of me that way, they need to just sit down and have a conversation because they'll find out with a quickness that I ain't
Yeah,
that guy.
I mean, this is the first time I've met you, and I feel like just sitting here bullshitting with an old friend. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, Top Springs, everybody.
yeah, I mean, it's cool. Well, John, thank you so much, man. And I, I am so looking forward to October 20th. I can't wait to see Eight Eyes. I know y'all are going to blow it away.
Yeah,
I hope sometime we can sit down and have a drink together or even a cup of coffee,
yeah,
and just hang out, man. Because
yeah.
I'm like you. I love the music and it's all about the music because music can do so much for so many people, you
Yeah.
know, and that's what matters to me. That
Absolutely. It's the most powerful medium in the world, and it can be used for negative and positive, or it can be used just for bullshit, like uh, the bands that we hear on the radio that's like talking about just stuff that don't matter, I
yeah,
mean, that's another thing about this record is there's a satirical vibe to it that some people might think is sacrilegious, and it's not. I mean, I'm actually a believer, and so is Dakota. We're believers, we're Christians,
all right.
but we do all agree about a certain hypocrisy that goes on in the world. So I mean, I don't get it deep into something else, but I'm just saying if you gotta listen to lyrics and realize that bands have a lot more to say. Bands that have a lot more to say should be listened to a little bit more because the medium is the most powerful medium there is. And if the
Exactly.
music's good and the vocals are good and the dude's saying something really cool, man, that makes it really important. And I believe this
Yeah,
record
and
is
when
important.
you can sit there and you can listen to it and you can actually feel what what it was written about and feel what that person was going through at the time they wrote that song. I mean, that's
Hmm. Yeah, and if you hear some lyric that sounds like anti-Christian or this or that, dissect it before you judge it because it's not saying what you may think it's saying. It's saying
exactly
something actually that's a lot deeper and more important that people really need to understand about hypocrisy and uh, corporate religion. Um, but anyways, I mean, it's not a message that we're trying to minister to the world. It's just that's just what it is. But I just
right.
hate when people jump to the you sound like Alice in Chains and it's sacrilegious. Those are two things that you got to go deeper than that. You have to go deeper than that
Right.
because I'm deeper than that. So is Ryan. So is Dakota. And so is Eric. So if you're not deep enough to go and dive in and see what we're really talking about, you probably don't need to listen to it because it's just gonna
Yeah.
make you
I
think
mean,
something that's not. You
well,
know.
like I said, instantly, just in a few minutes, I was like drawn in. I was like, there's more to this song than just the sound. Listen to it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's if you actually pay attention, like you said, it will draw you in, and you'll actually get that unheard message if you really
That's
pay.
Yeah, that's why I pretty much tell everybody that before I even release the record, I would send it to certain people. But like, listen to it from front to back. Don't just pick a song. Listen to it. Sit down, like we used to do to Pink Floyd, The Wall, man.
Yeah,
Just sit down and listen to the whole record front to back because it has a life that goes from here to there that all exists together. Yes, the songs are beautiful on their own, but it is meant to be taken as a whole. And I don't think a lot of people do that anymore. And it wasn't
and
really intended to be. It just turned into that.
that's that's when things happen and fall in place and are meant to be, and it was meant to come out that way,
Yeah.
and I really hope that people take the time and really get what the music is all about
Yeah.
because it's pretty freaking awesome.
Well, thank you. And you were talking about buying stuff. We don't have any physical CDs or anything. I think we have some download cards that we'll be selling, and that's about all we got to sell. Uh, I'll probably bring some of my Lore and Legend stuff, my side company that I make things like beard waxes and oils. I'll probably have some of that stuff to sell. But as far as like
Well,
merchandising stuff, we won't have any. So just come to enjoy Eight Eyes when you're
yes,
Eight Eyes. And
there you
I mean,
go.
yeah.
And have a blast, and have a blast. Well, John, thank you so much for being here and and giving me the honor to do this interview with you. It has been a pleasure. And, like Dean said, you're going to love him, Mary. He's just a down to earth guy. And, you
Oh,
know,
one last thing. That story he told about the hot dogs, that shit is true. That's true. We went scavenging around, man. We didn't have no money. And he left out
can I Skype one of those weenies, man?
he left one part out too. He left one part out too. We didn't have no money to get no food. So we went to this other dude's house that was a friend of theirs. It was not me. That I was just with these young cats, man. We go all the way back into town to this dude's house, and we tell one of their friends that Will had been arrested, and we had to get money to get him out of jail, so he would give us some money. He didn't tell that part of the story. Told
No,
Jack one of his own friends lied and said Will wasn't in jail. He wasn't.
Dean, you have been told off
Yeah,
on. Oh.
like a bunch of school kids is gonna go bail somebody out of jail. Really? You believe
Yeah,
that?
you're
Yeah.
right. Y'all just want some hot dogs.
Yeah, but we did get those hot dogs. They were old too, man. They've been in the
Oh
aluminum
Lord,
foil.
no.
It was gross. It was gross.
Before we get off here, John, where can um where can everybody find the music? I mean, I've looked it up, I've downloaded it, but I want to hear from you where everybody can go and buy Eight Eyes new album.
It's just, use the search engine. It's on CD Baby. You can get it there. You can get the whole record on CD Baby for
I
$6.66.
know, I seen that. I was like, $6 and I was like, really? This is the
Yeah.
whole album. I was
It,
like, click.
Yeah, but I did it the same thing just because I was wanting to support myself, but I can't play it on my damn phone that way. But then of course iTunes, you can get it from iTunes, Amazon Music's got it, Google Play or whatever that is. It's everywhere. CD Baby has covered all the bases, so you can get
Right.
it basically everywhere. But I know most people have iPhones, and if you have an iPhone, you want to get it off of iTunes. And something else I was gonna say. Oh yeah, it's on the streaming stuff now. It's on like Spotify and stuff. It took them a while to get all that stuff loaded up because the rest of the guys weren't signed up for like BMI and stuff. So
Right.
I had to go and like get a bunch of stuff straightened out so we could make sure it went across the board. And oh yeah, it hadn't went to all the streaming stuff because there's some profanities on it. Not much, just a few. And there was some stuff that had to be done because there was profanities and one of the songs was over 13 minutes long and that kind of messed it up. So I don't even, it's on all that stuff now.
I
So
bet you that was
it's
for
everywhere.
13 minutes.
There's no physical copies available yet. There will be at some point. We're going to get some vinyl of it made at some point as well.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
I want to know when you do, because I want one.
Yeah, absolutely. We got
Vinyl is where it's at. I'm sorry.
And if we don't ever do it, I'm going to get one for my damn self.
Well, I'll pay you. Get one for my damn self.
Yeah, that's right. I gotta have
I'll put that bitch in a frame and be like, yeah. Because vinyl. My husband, his brother Donnie, he has a collection that he's been collecting since he was. I think Russell said since he was 16, and my husband's 40, or my husband's 56. So he's been collecting for 55 years.
Oh, wow. I've got a trunk full of vinyl. We actually inherited, we had some, but we inherited some from my wife's uncle when he passed. And he has some stuff in there that's worth some money. Not that it'll ever get sold, but holy mackerel, man, you wouldn't believe the stuff that's in this trunk. I'm serious. It's in my guitar boat that used to hold my guitars. That's where all the vinyl is now. There's thousands of records in there. One thing I wanted to say about a record, too, I know you got to go, probably.
I've got all the time you want, brother.
I was just telling you. You've seen the cover, right? Because you said you would want to frame it. You've seen the cover. You know what that is on the cover? We actually contacted, Ryan had an idea of what he wanted to see. And he has a lot of like visual ideas. And he wanted to find an artist that could make the rendition of what he was thinking. Well, that art that you see on there is this Russian artist that I contacted through Instagram. He actually found her style. I contacted her and kind of used the, hey, guess who I am, to see if she would do anything. Right. And that is a physical sculpture that she made, and it's about 4 foot by 4 foot. So what you're seeing on that picture, that is a physical existing sculpture.
That is a work of art.
And the faces are like actually the scale that you see there. That's how big it is. Wow. And it's still she uses it in all these art shows that she has. Her stuff is sick. I wish I could remember her name right now. I'd plug her.
Yeah, I would love to check her out, man.
I'm Russian. I'll send you a link. I've got it on my Instagram. I can't think of it right off the bat, but she is one of the most ridiculous artists you've ever seen as far as like sculpting and making things. She's got stuff that's freaking weird and just crazy, like robotic evil cats and just weird shit.
Oh, wow.
But that picture, a lot of people would think, oh, they just probably pulled that from somewhere. No, that was literally made for us to take a picture of, to make an album cover out of. So, and we want the sculpture here, but it's going to cost like $3,000 to ship it. So,
right. Well, that is really cool, man. Yeah, definitely send me that link because, man, that sounds killer. I mean, it looked cool as shit.
Yeah, you'll have to check it out. I'll put the link on wherever this shows up on the thing. I'll put the link where everybody can kind of go click on it and look at her stuff on Instagram.
Cool.
And I'm so sorry if she sees this. I can't remember your name, but I'm not fluent in Russian.
I'm not either. So, well, John, I know you got your lovely kids and stuff, and but thanks for taking time out and talking to me, and I am so looking forward to seeing you guys rock out.
Don't forget, thank you.
Send me that link, and man, keep in touch, dude. Let me know. Keep me in touch about Aeths, and I love when it's real music. I love getting the word out. So, man, I'm down.
All right. Well, then have a great day, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday. All right.
See you then. All right. Have a rocking night, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Guys, that was John LeCompt from Aeths, formerly of Evanescence. Really cool guy. Great interview. I mean, he's just so down to earth. You know, go find Aeths. Like he said, just put in Google, just type in Aeths. It'll pop up. Go get the album. It's only this, just round it up, $7, man. And it's great music. October the 20th, they are the headlining act at the Spa City first annual Rocktoberfest. Man, this was cool. Thank you, John. Thank you, Aeths. This is Mary Hope with Rocktight, taking entertainment to new heights. Until tomorrow at 7 p.m. with Wicked Truth, or if one of the other bands from the Spa City gets with me, I'll be interviewing all the bands on the lineup throughout the week, except Wednesday. But cool. John LeCompt, man, dude is the bomb. So make sure you go like his band, Aeths, Ryan Kemp, Dakota Swayze, John LeCompt, and Eric Reed. And also go find Redrum Studios in Benton, Arkansas. Tell them Mary Hope from Rocktight sent you. Peace out and keep rocking.